How can a country of just 9 million people have such a grip on the world's biggest superpower? Why does the US send $3.8 billion every year to Israel, while Americans struggle with healthcare, housing, and student debt? Why do American presidents, Republican and Democrat alike, all stand in line to promise loyalty to Israel no matter what? And why, even after thousands of dead children in Gaza, does Washington continue to send bombs stamped Made in USA? The answer lies in history, politics, money, religion, and power. Today, we're going to connect the dots. Let's start with the numbers. Since World War II, the United States has given over $260 billion in aid to Israel, more than to any other country in the entire world. But this isn't just foreign aid, it's a pipeline, a guaranteed, unstoppable stream of US taxpayer money that flows straight into Israel's military machine. Every year, the US sends $3.8 billion to Israel. That's about $10 million every single day. And where does it go? To fighter jets, to bombs, to tanks, to missile defense systems like the Iron Dome. All of it funded by American taxpayers. Take 2016, for example. Under President Obama, the US signed the largest military aid deal in American history, a $38 billion package over 10 years. Locked in, guaranteed, no matter who sits in the White House. That means while Americans argue about how to pay for healthcare or education, Israel never has to worry about where its next warplane is coming from. Here's the catch. Much of this money never even leaves the US. By law, a huge portion of the aid must be spent on American defense companies, giants like Lockheed Martin, Boeing, and Raytheon. So Israel gets the weapons, the corporations get the profits, and ordinary Americans, they get the bill. Take the F-35 stealth fighter jet. Each one costs around $80 million. The US has supplied dozens to Israel, making it one of the few countries in the world with access to this next-generation aircraft. Meanwhile, teachers in Detroit buy school supplies out of their own pockets. Or consider Israel's Iron Dome. This missile defense system has received over $2.6 billion in US funding since 2011. That's money that could have rebuilt crumbling US infrastructure, bridges, roads, and water systems that experts say will cost over $2 trillion to repair. While Israel expands its military arsenal, over 500,000 Americans are homeless. While Israeli cities are shielded by US-funded defense systems, tens of millions of Americans live without health insurance. So ask yourself, why does a nation of 9 million people get unlimited US tax dollars while 330 million Americans are told there's no money for basic needs? This isn't generosity. It's not charity. It's an investment in war, an investment in the military-industrial complex that profits from endless conflict. And behind every dollar, every deal, every jet and missile is a network of politics, lobbying, and influence that keeps this pipeline flowing. So the question is, why? Is this really about strategy? Or is there something far deeper? Money, power, and control driving America's unconditional support for Israel?
This is where names matter. One organization stands at the center, AIPAC, the American Israel Public Affairs Committee. For decades, AIPAC has been called the most powerful foreign policy lobby in Washington. Its annual conferences draw thousands of politicians, business leaders, and donors, with U.S. presidents, both Republican and Democrat, showing up to pledge loyalty on stage. But it's not just speeches, it's money. In the 2022 midterms alone, pro-Israel groups poured over $30 million into campaign donations. AIPAC's Super PAC, the United Democracy Project, spent millions to defeat candidates who criticized Israel. Even Democrats like Donna Edwards in Maryland or Andy Levin in Michigan, both targeted and beaten after questioning unconditional U.S. aid to Israel. The message is clear. Step out of line, and you're gone. Former Congressman Paul Findley once said that voting against Israeli interests is political suicide. He knew firsthand. After serving 22 years in Congress, his career ended once he started questioning U.S. policy toward Israel. And AIPAC isn't alone. There's Christians United for Israel, led by televangelist John Hagee, mobilizing millions of Christian Zionists to pressure Congress. There's the Anti-Defamation League, ADL, presenting itself as a civil rights group, but often lobbying to silence critics of Israel. And dozens of PACs, some with vague names like Pro-Israel America PAC, funnel millions into local elections. Together, these groups form what scholars like John Mearsheimer and Stephen Walt have called the Israel Lobby, one of the most powerful forces in Washington, shaping U.S. foreign policy more than any think tank, business lobby, or grassroots movement. And the influence isn't only financial. The lobby has deep reach into the media and academia. Organizations like the Middle East Media Research Institute, or MEMORY, and the Washington Institute for Near East Policy, or YNEP, pump out reports, op-eds, and talking points that frame Israel as America's indispensable ally. This machine works quietly but effectively. Presidents from Clinton to Bush, Obama to Biden, and now Trump have all maintained the same bottom line: billions for Israel, unquestioned support no matter the human cost. But money and lobbying are only half the picture. There's something deeper, a narrative, a story that has been carefully crafted for decades. For decades, Israel has been sold to the American public as the only democracy in the Middle East. From Hollywood movies to school textbooks, Israel is painted as a brave little country surrounded by enemies. Meanwhile, Palestinians are often erased or portrayed as aggressors. Look at U.S. presidents. From Reagan to Bush, Clinton to Obama, Biden to Trump, every one of them repeats the same script. America stands with Israel. Why? Because challenging that narrative would be political suicide. But there's another layer that makes this even stronger: religion. Millions of American evangelicals believe that Israel's survival fulfills biblical prophecy. Groups like Christians United for Israel, led by Pastor John Hagee, openly preach that supporting Israel is God's will. That means millions of votes tied to religion, a powerful bloc no president wants to lose. In 2018, when Trump moved the U.S. Embassy to Jerusalem, it wasn't just for Israel, it was also a gift to evangelicals. So we have money, we have lobbying, we have religion, but what about consequences? What happens when U.S. leaders keep supporting Israel no matter the cost? Here's the contradiction. America claims to defend democracy and human rights, yet it bankrolls a system of apartheid, illegal settlements, and endless bombings. Every missile that hits Gaza, paid for with American tax dollars. Every hospital destroyed, linked back to Washington. And this is why so many are asking, who's ruling who? Is America guiding Israel, or is Israel guiding America? Former U.S. officials like General David Petraeus have even admitted blind support for Israel is fueling anti-American sentiment worldwide. In other words, this isn't just about Palestine. It's about America's future.
So, is Israel ruling the American government? The evidence is there. The billions in aid, the lobbying machine, the narrative control, the religious influence, and the political cost of saying no. A country of 9 million people dictating policies of a superpower of 330 million. But here's the real question. How long can this last? As more Americans wake up to the truth, as global outrage grows, silence becomes impossible. And when that silence finally breaks, the question won't just be about Israel, it'll be about America itself. Whose interests is Washington really serving? Its people or someone else's?
Part of this is also ironic because most deliveries, pardon me, it's late and I need to go to bed, but most presentations contain propaganda. Case in point, this is heliocentric physics-defying globe theory propaganda. Understand, the flat earth is equally ridiculous. It's pseudo-intellectual flat earth. It's the pseudo-intellectual flat earth, where typically speaking, all you see is the moon and the sun. It's just as ridiculous as believing that the moon and the sun are outside of the system you and I are a part of. They're both essentially the same outline, by the way, too. It needed to be said. Towards the end of this video, the narrator, whoever this is, whether a robot or a human, and we should not have to question such things, but towards the end, it will essentially wax poetic that, Why isn't America, concerned with the people? Nothing is for the people by the people. Nothing has been for the people by the people since 1871, approximately, if not earlier. And I highly doubt. This is the first time I've ever clicked on the comment section. I bet you nobody in here has a clue what's going on. Case in point, I mean, that shit does happen, but these kids aren't saying anything worthwhile. I never agreed to. That doesn't matter. You work for the fucking corporation. You work a job, you sign a W-2. That's unconstitutional. Some people will argue in favor of it. No, it's not. Yes, it is. Yes, it fucking is. You're giving a stranger your money. That's not something free people do. Yeah. What's this? Red or blue, they all work for. That's true. And they polarize people. They promote the Hegelian dialectic, which is fascism in practice. Decades ago, close. Much longer. Like I said, 1871. This presentation also says something to the effect of only decades. Superficially speaking, they're not dancing back and actually appreciating what reflects history. If this is your first time hanging out with me, I've talked about this at length for at least a year just to make a point. That I'm surrounded by superficial people who do not care and do not understand what reflects history, reality, etc., etc. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, most superficial people would just click on the account that I'm, wherever I leave this, they would only click on that account. I moderate multiple profiles across multiple platforms. And you can find them if you're not a dim light. Blackmail art, it's not a government. And I'm going to rattle some of that off in a minute, even though I shouldn't, and I'm very tired. Stop noticing. These kids with their noticing, it drives me fucking it bothers me. 3 billion a month. Oh, and the video also reaffirms bullshit numbers in terms of population. It's another propaganda campaign in this video. There's no greater enemy, blah blah. And bear in mind, I probably can't leave this on YouTube. I'm shocked this is on TikTok. I leave things like this on TikTok and I get flagged. This account was allowed to post it. I haven't. 9 million people. Pardon me. I'm trying to get this thing to work. Maybe I just missed it. Only has 2,000, but that's more than I'll ever garner. It's curious when people post things like this and they're not censored. I'm not saying anybody should be censored, but we live in the age of. I'm not saying but to reaffirm that we should be censored. I'm saying this is the age of disinformation and patently fascist censorship, and I apologize, I am very tired. Have such a grip. I want to do this before I go to bed, otherwise I won't be able to sleep. Oops. And I probably should get on with it, right? Here. So let's do this, and this is the worst app of all of them, just to be painfully fucking clear. And I know I'm probably not clear. I'm clear as mud right now. Let's see if it works. Republic fell during the Civil War and was finalized in 1871. Period. 1871 marks when the Organic Act established the District of Columbia. Period. The District of Columbia is the bottom of the trilateral city-states. Period. And unfortunately, I should do this. Unfortunately, the trilateral city-states is in league with Israel. Period. The top of the trilateral city-states is the UK, comma. The city-state is known as the Crown, aka the city. Period. Oh, I fucked it up. Period. It's a banking financial district, comma. This is where all the money goes and where the money flows. Period. Middle of the trilateral city-states is Roma, comma, specifically the Catholic Church, comma, the Vatican, comma. Once again, it's a city-state, symbolized by an obelisk. Period. This is social control, otherwise known as religion. Period. The bottom of the trilateral city-states is the military-industrial complex, comma. This is the District of Columbia, symbolized by the Washington Monument. Period. I forgot to mention the obelisk at the top, and that's my fault, comma. It's known as Cleopatra's Needle. Period. Also, do look up the numerous names of the obelisk located at the Vatican, comma. It's quite telling. Period. These are some of the broad steps that people do not appreciate, comma. Other people will argue do not. That's a way to put it. Let's just do this. Appreciate, period. Like I said, I'm struggling with my words at the moment, and I apologize again. What else should they know? I mean, here, we'll do this too. And some of the things I want to leave in here, I can't because they have been flagged on this shitty fucking app. Plug. If it works. The following into Google, comma. Was CBS established by Jewish interests? Question mark. Repeat this with ABC and NBC. Period. Repeat the same search criteria. Only plug in Google, comma, then Microsoft Bing, comma, DuckDuckGo, comma, followed by Yandex. Period. Fact is, they control everything, including the DARPA internet, comma, and all social media. Period. What else am I leaving out? They control all the banking. Well, oops. The banks. Period. What else? What else? What else? They control politics, comma, religion, comma, Hollywood, comma, and the world of literature, comma, just to name a few. Period. You and I have been had. It's all a goddamn joke, comma. If you were born yesterday, comma, you are the punchline. Period. Like I said, I'm struggling with words at the moment. And I'll splice this in, or I already did with the video. I just screen recorded it. You can't pinch it. You got report, this, that, and the other thing. As far as I'm aware, yeah, it's nowhere in here. So you can't pinch it, which is shiesty. So I screen recorded the entire thing. Just appreciate, I spent that much time and energy trying to help you guys. And that's if this isn't flagged and removed from the Zionist DARPA internet, wherever I do choose to leave it. Let's see here.
How can it?
It doesn't say that I have a warning on here right now, so I'm probably going to put it on here. Not that I should have one. Freedom of speech should exist regardless of the medium. Community guidelines is the opposite of freedom of speech. If you've ever rattled off shadow banning, canceling, polarizing, positive vibes only, hating, Snopes, debunked, hate speech, bullying, any of that garbage, you're promoting patently fascist censorship. You're promoting fascism. You're promoting censorship. Has that ever dawned on you? Probably not. Because freedom of speech doesn't exist online anymore because of you. If you're one of those people, and the chances are highly likely that you are. Here's another thing that you need to appreciate. Do you have a blue check mark on your profile? Do you have friends and family? Strangers? You bump into anybody? Have you ever seen one of those? That shit's in place to pave the way for it's normalizing social credit slavery. And most people assume otherwise. It's a digital class system, for fuck's sake. It's also patently fascist censorship. People like me are no longer not only considered, but we're not created equal on the DARPA internet anymore. Each and every single one of us should be able to post something and have people see it. Humans see it. We shouldn't have to pay to do it. We shouldn't have to rent it. We shouldn't have to any of that shit. There should be no reach. You leave information online, humans see the information. And they choose to do something with it or they don't. But that's not how things work anymore. And most people have bought into that as well. If you're also paying attention and you have a YouTube account and you upload videos, it's one of the initial pages when you click on your YouTube profile. I think it's the first one, and or right after you've posted a video. It keeps changing too. But look for a blue check mark down on the middle bottom. It's kind of the bottom right, but kind of in the middle. But it looks just like the verification check mark because it's subliminal imagery and these things are being normalized so that you get used to it and you don't question it and you just march in lockstep with your horse blinders on with everybody else. Yeah. If you do follow this account too, or some of the other account, well, actually this account, if you follow YouTube, I can't kick you out, but I'll probably kick you out of this account if you're not doing the right thing, which is why there's only 5 people in there right now. I keep cleaning house. Because I'm looking for people who are smart, who can think for themselves, and don't shop around propaganda, and most people do. If you use emojis, you're not welcome here. If you truncate your words, you're not welcome here. Despite the fact I couldn't string words together 5 minutes ago, who knows? I got a little fired up. If you can't knock out a proper sentence, more often than not on the DARPA internet, you're not willing to set an example for others. You're not welcome. You're not who I'm looking for. Now, bear in mind, you can change these modes or these behaviors of yours, the shitty way that you conduct yourself, the fact that you're encouraging others to lower themselves in every form and way. But most people aren't willing to rise to the occasion, despite the fact that most people wax poetic about raising their vibration and claim that they're so brilliant and they live in the age of information and all the other flowery garbage that they were spoon-fed, which is why they believe that we got this. We don't got this. Things are shit. There are so many dark things coming, and no one has done anything to stop any of it. We don't have any ducks in a row. Not one. Not one. We're quite literally lining up, getting on our knees, and either going to get bent over or get our heads chopped off. I shit you not. That's where we're going with this. It's a shitty analogy. Like I said, I'm tired. If you hung out, thanks for hanging out. What the fuck do I know? I'm just trying to help people. And it has not gone well. I've been at this for over 10 years. I think it's been 13 years officially. And it's been nothing but frustrating. But then again, you and I are not surrounded by smart people, which is why things are bad. Oh, what could this possibly be? Let's see what we got here. Told you guys I'm censored. And I can't... Oh, no, I thought I couldn't appeal it, too. The thing that I was using the record was right there. They're not going to allow this. But, yeah. What the fuck do I know? Freedom of speech doesn't exist anymore, and it should, and it could. We could still fight for it. We could change things. People they're not doing the right fucking thing. They're doing all the wrong things. Oh, here's an example. Use your hands and show me the symbol of peace. I bet you're wrong. Because I'm surrounded by a bunch of gullible turds willing to repeat anything and march in lockstep, like I said, with their horse blinders on. And make no mistake, you're goose stepping, and you're doing so with a fucking smile.